Welcome and thank you for joining us here on the Owatonna Today Show. I'm Deb Gillard, your host, and today is Friday, December 19th. Less than a week till Christmas. I know I keep counting it down, don't I? And I keep telling you that I'm not ready, and I'm still not ready. I'm sorry. But we are getting ready, of course, for the Christmas holiday. And we are so glad you're with us here today. We, of course, would not be coming to you in any way, shape, or form, whether on Charter or out on the internet where you find us, if it were not for our supporters. And we do definitely want to acknowledge them. And we also want to encourage you to patronize their businesses, support the organizations. They include our premier supporters, the City of Owatonna, Express Employment Professionals, Owatonna Public Utilities, and United Way of Steele County. Primary supporters are Amy Swain Hearing Centers and Little Theater of Owatonna. And our interlude supporters, Abraham Consulting Technologies, Bremer Bank, Bredna Bednar Mortgage Office, Glenn Mager and Tim Thomas of the Brick Mager Funeral Home and Medford Funeral Home, Brookdale Senior Living, Clarebridge and Sterling House, Carlson Brandstad and Company CPAs, ERA Gillespie Real Estate, Fairview Animal Medical Center, Horizon Eye Care Professionals, the Owatonna Business Incubator, Owatonna Foundation, Profinium Financial, R&K Electric, Snap Fitness, Steele County Historical Society, Steele County Transitional Housing, the Third Hand Incorporated Video Productions, and TPS Insurance. And if you or someone that you know might be interested in supportership of our program, please get a hold of Leanne at 390-5751 or via email at owatonnatoday@charter.net. She'll be happy to get you information on how you also can become a supporter. We have a great show for you today, lots of good information. First up, after we come back from our break, we'll have our City of Owatonna update, and following that, I do it every time, Owatonna Bremer. Why? Otto Bremer Foundation Grant update, and so we'll be doing all of that today. So we'll take this break and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jody Voisin with the staff at Fairview Animal Medical Center, your other family doctor. Fairview Animal Medical Center is a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
If clothing catches fire, stop, drop, and roll. If your clothes catch on fire, do not panic and run. This only fans the fire. Stop where you are, drop to the ground, and roll over and over to smother the flames. Cover your face with your hands to protect your eyes and your throat and lungs from the burns. This has been a safety tip from the Owatonna Fire Department.
Hi, my name is Dave Olson and I'm with R&K Electric, where we provide power to the people. We're proud supporters of the Owatonna Today Show.
Welcome back. Thanks again for joining us on this Friday, December 19th. City Administrator Kris Busse joins us. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
And I haven't been on this side of the table for a while you've been here, or when you're here, and you are regularly, so it's nice to see you again.
You too.
And we have with us also Mark, I'm going to get this wrong, Mark Krug.
That's
is
correct.
It that easy? Okay.
It is.
With the Human Rights Commission, and
Yes.
so that's largely what we want to be talking about today.
Yes.
Is the commission and an event that's coming up. So let's, if we can, just kind of take our viewers in the direction of kind of back to square one. What is the Human Rights Commission? When was it formed? What does it do?
The Human Rights Commission was formed back in 2000 by the council, and at that time the purpose was to provide advice and direction to the council on matters of human rights. To ensure that all residents of the city have adequate access to things that they need.
Okay.
So it's been in essence in existence for 14 years, and right now we're kind of going through a review of our bylaws, of our purpose, of our scope, to tweak it a bit, to fine tune it. Obviously things change from 14 years ago to now, and so our commission is hard at work on reviewing those bylaws and looking at some different direction maybe to go into.
Okay. How many people are involved in the commission?
We have 7 commissioners.
Okay.
Plus Kris sits on the commission as the representative from the city, and then we do have Jeanette Clausen, who serves as our secretary, takes notes. It is a public meeting, and so we do invite the public to come and join us. We meet on the second Tuesday of the month at the City Hall.
Okay.
We have moved our room. We used to meet up on the second floor, and we're now down in the bowels of the of the basement.
That doesn't make it sound
I would-
attractive.
I
I
would
don't think I
call
want to join you, but
I would call it the lower level
The
conference room.
Lower level conference room.
If you were to
And those
ask
of us
me.
that are infrequent visitors to the City Hall,
Yes.
it's kind of scary getting your way down there. But
oh no, you're selling it. You are selling it for
I'm not
anybody
trying
else
to.
you want
There's
on
an
the
outside.
Come
There
on.
is an outside entrance.
I'm
You
just
do not
teasing
need to
you.
come through the inside.
Yeah.
But the commission is as Kris said, we're working hard to make sure that we are a representative body for our community. We have a very diverse community. I don't think a lot of people recognize that. We all kind of get into our own little circles, and we don't realize the diversity that exists within our community. And unfortunately, from time to time, because it is a diverse community that is somewhat very not outspoken in some ways, some discrimination do occur or some perceived slights occur. And so the commission stands as a vehicle for the community to come forward and say, hey, this is happening, what can be done about it? And
Okay.
so the commission then listens, and we try and help as best we can. We are not an enforcer. There are some entities that are enforcement of human rights and of civil rights. That is not our role. Our role is to promote dialogue, is to promote education, and is to try and help figure out how our community can work productively and collaboratively with one another.
Okay. How long have you been involved with the commission?
I've been on the commission for 3 years.
Okay.
I'm with the Owatonna School District, and so we like to have a representative from the education community on the committee, or on the commission, because the schools are the one place that everybody does come together, and it is a forced inclusion, and so we have a vested interest in the work and the activity of the Human Rights Commission.
Okay. Well, very interesting. That's a great overview, I think, and it sounds like it exists in a lot of ways to keep the awareness where it should be, to give access to individuals to have a place to speak out, maybe a place for you to connect the dots and the right people to the right services or whatever I'm trying to say. But yeah, it's not coming out right. But it sounds like an excellent vehicle to do that. So it would be interesting to see then how that plays out. And I would guess that yes, in 14 years, a lot of things have changed. So you're maybe needing to look at things a little bit differently than was maybe once intended. Now, Kris, you were mentioning before we went on about a program.
Yes.
That you yourself recently completed, or
Well, we collaborated
Okay.
with the Blandon group. They hosted a leadership in ethnically diverse communities.
Okay.
That was very exciting. I was pulled in late, members of the community, diverse members, and we did a lot of training, and the idea or the purpose is to develop leadership capacity in ethnically diverse communities for the purpose of building intentional inclusion. So all of that is pretty much what Mark was saying in a little easier format, but
Okay.
bringing those people together, learning about each other, learning about our differences, learning about what we have in common. And the last session is the one I was invited to, where every member who went through the training brought in 1 or 2 members from the community, and from there, the idea was to branch out and it's like, okay, so now what? We've got this training, we know these people, what do we do? And so from that came 2 or 3 ideas that each, 6 or 7 people are going to be working on in the community. So I
Okay.
think that's very exciting,
It is.
and we're partnering on one of them. We're just starting out. Some of them involved building upon the cultural diversity network. Some was like having a diversity dinner. Some was a welcome center. So, stay tuned. There's going to be more things in the community.
I'm sure we'll be hearing more about that. One of the things, too, that the commission does is to host an event every year, and that will be coming up not too long from now on Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about that, Mark.
Well, we have hosted a breakfast for about 10 years now, with a wide range of speakers, all with the intent of trying to promote greater understanding. Again, much along the themes of what we've talked about already about education, awareness, trying to build dialogue, actually. And so we've had many different speakers over the past couple of years, and this year we're very excited to bring in Anita Patel, who is the Vice President of Racial Justice and Public Policy for the Greater Minneapolis YWCA.
Okay.
And she has a great deal of experience in community dialogue and has a great deal of knowledge about some of the issues that face Minnesota. Again, a lot of people don't recognize the diversity that exists within our state. And there are some issues. And so she'll come and she'll share some of the current happenings that are going on. And then there'll be an opportunity for dialogue with her afterwards.
Okay.
We do it on Monday morning of Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
And when does that fall this year? Are you remembering the
January
date?
19th.
Is it the 19th? Okay.
It's 19th.
All right.
We're at Plaza.
Okay.
Well, breakfast begins at 6:30.
Okay.
Get up early.
It's an early one, yes.
And
Good start to your day.
And then the speaker is at 7.
Okay.
And then they typically speak for half hour, 40 minutes, a little question and answer, and then we try and get everybody out of there by 8.
Okay. And you've had a good
Yes.
participation, attendance in
Yes,
the past?
for that early in the morning on a anywhere between 50 to 60, 75 individuals. Very nice. A couple of years ago, when it was 20 below, we still had 60 individuals that
Yes.
showed up.
Nice.
So it was a wonderful. It's been a nice event for the community.
And it sounds like it's done what it's intended to do, and it creates some dialogue while you're there. So I don't, at the risk of saying interactive, maybe is that kind of how you look at it?
It's not as interactive as we would like.
Oh, okay.
But it is a nice opportunity to learn from one another.
Sure, and get some information. How do people, if they're interested in knowing more about it, how do they find out about it? I'm assuming for the purposes of preparing, you need RSVP.
And actually, we don't.
No?
It's open to the public.
Okay.
The
host
plaza
Busse.
is just wonderful about providing more than enough.
Okay.
And so
Going with the flow? Yeah,
Going with
they're
the
good
flow,
at that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep, so
And-
there's no cost
Right.
or no RSVP. And
Okay. And we'll be seeing more about it as it gets a little bit closer. We are a month away, but yet that month is going to go really quickly here with the holiday and the first of the year and
Right.
all that kind of stuff. So,
Exactly.
where can someone find out more information?
We'll have it on our website, at the
Okay.
city's website. We'll also be doing, there'll be some notices in the paper. We'll be getting the word out.
Okay, and we'll probably be announcing it here too, if you
Yes.
have, and making sure that folks know about it too. So
We appreciate
Well,
that.
Thank you for the work that you're doing, and the other individuals on the commission. Keep doing what you do. And Kris, of course, it's great to have that also
Oh,
to
yes.
feed into what you do and
Yep.
and to be that another great resource for you. So
I have to say, everyone on that commission is so devoted and has such a passion for this. It's great to see, and we really appreciate them to have them in the community. So,
Okay. Well, thank you, Kris. Thank you, Mark, for joining us, and best of luck with the event come January.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break for our supporters, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Stan Groff, Director of Steele County Public Health and a member of the United Way Community Leadership Team. United Way focuses on the building blocks of life: education, income, and health. Our programs and initiatives prepare children from birth for academic success, well-paying jobs, and a healthy lifestyle. That's why I joined Mayo Clinic Health System and the Owatonna School District to lead this year's campaign. We invite you to invest in our community by giving to the United Way.
Hi, my name is Dave Efforts with TPS Insurance. We're here to handle all your insurance needs. We are a very proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
I didn't just want another job, I wanted a career, so I expressed myself.
I was new to town and I didn't know where to turn for a job, so I decided to express myself.
I decided to express myself, and they helped find the right career for me.
Express Employment Professionals is in contact with thousands of companies in need of quality employees. Come in now and get the job you deserve.
Express yourself today.
Hi, this is Doug Johnson at the Owatonna Business Incubator, a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show. We'd like to welcome you to the incubator. If you're a small business, whether you're existing or a startup, we can help you with office space, manufacturing or warehouse, and free confidential counseling.
Hi, my name is Ryan Gillespie with Bremer Bank Mortgage. By trusting your home loan needs to Bremer Bank, you are guaranteed a personalized, straightforward, and honest experience from application to closing. We look forward to guiding you through your next home purchase or refinance.
Welcome back. Thanks again for joining us on this Friday, December 19th. And I have with me Tanya Paley. How are you?
Good morning, Deb. I'm doing great.
Good. And Jennifer Libby, how are you?
Fabulous. How are you, Deb?
Good, thank you. So Tanya, you're here with the Otto Bremer Foundation grant through your work with the United Way. Did I get all that right?
You got it
okay,
right.
All right. A title that goes with that, or?
Yes, I am Director of Strategic Operations at the United Way.
I knew there was that, and I would never recall it. So, and Jennifer, of course, joins us from the Chamber President.
Yes.
Correct in my title there. Okay,
yes.
Good. So what we want to talk about today is, it sounds like we're going to go under the big umbrella of workforce readiness and what that means in the strategic plan, what that can mean through Jennifer's work at the Chamber and on a particular steering committee. So kind of give us from the ground up if you can.
Sure. So we always like to go back to the fact that this will be the last month of our funding through the Otto Bremer Foundation.
Okay.
And they have funded work for the last 2 years. The first year was really spent, actually over a year, was spent listening to our community, talking to our community, getting some good information on what are some of the barriers that folks are experiencing to success in our community.
Yep.
And one of the things, not surprisingly, that came out was from the perspective of folks who are struggling, that they felt like they were not prepared, or they were not in jobs that really helped them to sustain their family. That there were some people in our community that were still really struggling, wanting to succeed but not able to. And then I know Jennifer will be talking a little bit from the side of business of why that might be and how we can look at that. But that's where we started was, okay, we know we want to do something at United Way so that folks don't have to keep going to the food shelf, they don't have to keep going to the the basic needs providers. We want to address those root causes that are leading people to need United Way services and make a difference in our community. So we got Jennifer on board. It's been a great partnership. She's on our strategic planning committee, and that has been relatively new. And so we're really in the implementation. We had that community conversation. Of course, the conversation is never over.
No.
But we want to move on into actually creating change in our community. And I think we've got some good things kicked off, and that's what we're here to talk about today.
Well, let's hear about them. What are some of those good things we're kicking off?
Well, one of the things that I'd like to just mention is that Brian Coleman from the Workforce Center and I are co-chairing this aspect of workforce readiness, and I really have to give them a great shout out. One of the things that we've seen around the community is last week, I think there was I know there was an event at the Holiday Inn where we had a lot of job fairs, and I forget the numbers, but we had hundreds of applicants come in, and I think there were 93 businesses there recruiting. So I can take no credit for that. That was all Brian, but some really good work that's being done. And when Tanya approached me in the Chamber and asked us to become involved, we were very, very heartened by the Otto Bremer Foundation because it gave us some resources to address a problem that's staring us in the face. And so some other things that are going on from a business perspective, as I talk to our members, as we talk to the community, we're hearing workforce. What's your number one barrier right now to growth and things like that? And it's workforce, not only in Owatonna, but in southern Minnesota and in Minnesota as a whole. We just completed a Grow Minnesota partnership study with the Minnesota Chamber, and the number one issue, surprisingly, was not taxes, was not different infrastructure issues, it was workforce availability.
Really?
So one of the really exciting things about the partnership with the United Way is that, to Tanya's point, we're talking about things and getting some good background, but we're doing things now. A lot of our business leaders are saying, it's great to see you, but I don't want to tell you again what I need because I told you, and kind of where are we going with things. And so we're able to show some early successes, or it's too early probably to call successes, but we're seeing some movement. So for example, Principal Mark Randall at Owatonna High School has an event called the Workforce and Readiness. It's College and Career Readiness Fair.
Okay.
So last year we had 2 businesses participate, so not only colleges, but businesses as well. And so there were 2 businesses there last year. Well, this year there were 14.
Good.
So we're clearly seeing, business has a need and a desire and want to help. To Tanya's point, we've got people that are wanting to expand their career background, and they want to do some different things. So how do we get everybody together?
Yeah.
So it's things like the job fair, it's things like the college and career fair at the high school, and frankly I think we're talking a lot about transportation now and how that affects it, and also training. Frankly, Deb, the model that used to work, where we'd go to work during the day and then we go to school at night to further our skills, doesn't necessarily work. So we're seeing a lot more enmeshing of the businesses. We're seeing a lot more community leadership from organizations like the United Way, and certainly as a chamber, we're a business representing businesses, but we're also about community, and we're also about sustainability.
Okay, well, it sounds very exciting.
It is.
Job and career fair for one.
Right.
Any other things that you're able to speak to as early successes or early good positive points?
Well, I would say, so we did have a meeting of both schools and employers, and of course Jennifer and I were there and Brian was there. And we asked them to kind of put together, if you had your wish list, what would you like to see happen in our community? Yep. And it was everything from what Jennifer's describing, which is just increasing awareness, bringing business into the schools and schools into business. There was some talk of even maybe having a more active role of having somebody in the high school that would know a little bit more about what the business needs were, so that they could provide some good advice, because everybody at the high school is working very hard, and and they all have their areas that they need to cover, and certainly the counselors there are working very hard, but just having that additional resource might be helpful. So that's a conversation we're having. Another piece that has been talked about is, could we do something more with mentorships and apprenticeships? And that's a big project, and so we don't have any successes yet on that, but we're talking about it. We're talking about what that would look like, and what resources would we need, and what are the guidelines that need to be put into place, because there are some areas that the Department of Education says we need to have, and so those are some.
I had a conversation with someone fairly recently about whatever happened to the apprenticeships, to learn a trade, to be in that, to learn from a mentor who's doing it. Not only are you finding out that it is, yes, what I want to be doing because it fits, but it seems so practical way to go about having, in some of the jobs, of course, not in all, but in some, it would seem to be a very practical way to go about it.
Yep, absolutely. And so we just need to, the United Way and the Chamber want to be that intermediary to say, what can we do to help move that forward, if that's what you'd like to see. So one other area that I just want to touch on really quickly that Jennifer mentioned is transportation.
Yes.
And that has been such a big conversation in our community, but I think we're on the verge of a breakthrough with that as well.
Okay.
Employers are saying that they are really seeing that this is a workforce readiness issue for them. They're not, employees are having to resign because they don't have that reliable transportation. And so we're talking about partnering with the Smart Bus here in town, with Owatonna Bus Company and employers to say, okay, how much would it cost? What could we do to provide some more transportation out to the industrial park and to other areas? Mayo does it, for example, for their employees. So what would that look like? So
very interesting as well, because we don't have quite that large enough community to really have public transportation, other than, and we do have some, and it but it at this point is limited to be able to have more of that, and especially getting people to and from work. What a great idea.
So maybe at the shift changes that we would see a little bit more availability. And again, Smart, Melinda Esty, who does the Smart program, was at the table, and not to take anything away from what they're doing, just to add on to that.
Exactly.
Yep.
Wow, that is exciting stuff going on, isn't it?
It
Never
is.
a dull moment, right?
Absolutely not.
Well, and I think it's about education and communication as well, because it's very interesting speaking at the high school, things that have changed. We're not seeing some of these things, but the things that are going on with mentorships, it was fascinating after a meeting that Kris Busse and Mark Randall and I had. They were amazing in terms of what they're already doing. A whole spreadsheet of offerings. So how do we communicate that to business? How do we communicate from business what we need to do differently? And as a community, so it's, all of the different educational entities.
Well, some really great strides here with some excellent background, obviously, that fed into all of this. So we look forward to hearing more and better and great things as we continue into the future.
Right.
Thank you, Tanya, and thank you, Jennifer, for being with us. We'll take a break for our supporters, and I know we'll be hearing more from you two later at some point too. But let's take this break for our supporters, and we'll be back to wrap up for today.
Hi, Warren Abraham, Abraham Consulting Technologies, your one-stop technology shop. We support the Owatonna Today Show.
Owatonna Public Utilities, real people, real reliable, real progress.
Making life a little easier day after day. Taking pride in our community, listening to what you say. A voice you can talk to. We're growing with you. With you in mind in everything we do.
Owatonna Public Utilities.
Welcome back. Time to wrap it up for this Friday before our week of Christmas. And we remind you again that the Riverbend Nature Center is having that event this coming Sunday, December 21st, to celebrate the winter solstice. It is going on from 5 to 7 o'clock, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, stargazing to celebrate the shortest day, longest night. If you are interested, please contact the environmental educator, Hannah, at Riverbend Nature Center at 332-7151 or on their website. Do you need an extra hand in creating capacity and support in your organization? Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation, in partnership with the Corporation for National and Community Service, is seeking proposals from organizations interested in hosting full-time AmeriCorps Vista members. The AmeriCorps Vista program is part of Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation's goal to create economic vitality through entrepreneur development. If you would like more information about that, you can get a hold of these Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation. The deadline for that community partnership site application is January 15th, so that's going to come up before we know it. If you'd like more information about that program or how it's working, please get a hold of Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation. And also, applications for recognition of 2015 Century Farms in Steele County are now online. They are available at the Office of the Steele County Free Fair. Century Farms are recognized during the Steele County Livestock Hall of Fame program. That will be this year on Tuesday, August 18th. And then farms that qualify are at least 100 years old in 2015, according to the Abstract Land Patent Original Deed County Land Records. All of those things, and the family must have owned the farm for 100 years or more. The ownership must be continuous, so it's a great honor to get that. To obtain application forms online, you can also go to mnstatefair.org, and that deadline for applications is April 1st, of 2015. So if you'd like more information about that or know of someone who would, head to that website. Coming up next week, among other things, we will have Christmas programming through part of the week, and show supporter Carlson Branstad will be joining us as well. So wishing you a very Merry Christmas from the Owatonna Today Show. I will not be back. Shelley will be here next week, but have a blessed holiday season, and I will look forward to seeing you again in the new year.